Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and today I am bringing you a double movie review. For Black Friday, I decided to pull a double feature. To avoid all the store madness, I thought, why don't I just lock myself away in a nice dark room with my favorite media, film. So here we are with a double movie review for those two films, Roman J. Israel Esquire and The Man Who Invented Christmas. So let's kick things off with Roman J. Israel. I think that this was a very solid film. I do think it is definitely a step down from Nightcrawler. It just isn't as well executed. The script isn't quite as good. It isn't as gripping and thrilling as Nightcrawler was. But I think that it's a really good film for at least 2/3 of it. And then that last third definitely falls off. But the performances here are undeniably great. Denzel Washington is fantastic, as usual, but this is a very different character for Denzel to be playing, especially at this point in his career, and he does so amazingly well. I think he is spectacular as Roman in this film. I also think that Colin Farrell is very, very good. Colin has a lot of subtleties and a lot of nuances that he adds into his performance, and it really elevates his character in general. Carmen Ejogo is also really good in this movie. I pretty much think she's great in virtually everything I ever see her in, and there's no difference here. She really brings a warmth and a grounded feel to this film. She feels authentic, she feels genuine, and I just loved every scene that she was a part of. And I think this film works really, really well as a character study of this man, Roman J. Israel. As we are just watching his life evolve through those first two acts, it's fantastic. I really think that it was on its way to being a great film through those first two acts because we're exploring the psyche and we're exploring the behavior of a very different character than we've really seen brought to screen, at least much recently. And then the action kind of kicks in, and then we get into this part with this whole, crime thriller. And it just kind of rolls downhill from there. I don't think it's nearly as effective as a thriller as it was as a character study dramedy. And then I didn't care for the ending. It ended kind of very sappy, and I wasn't really a fan of that at all. So ultimately, this film had a lot of greatness to it, and it is really bolstered by fantastic performances from everybody involved. But it tries to cram too many different types of film into this one narrative, and in doing so, it gets a little bit heavy-handed. So I would give Roman J. Israel a matinee. I think it's definitely worth seeing for the performances alone, honestly, but those first two acts really are strong. And if you have been interested by the trailers, definitely check it out at a matinee. I think it is worth that. If not, I would still say give this a rental or a watch on video on demand. And now on to The Man Who Invented Christmas. I really, really liked this film quite a bit. This movie catalogs the making of A Christmas Carol by showing us Charles Dickens' process in making this story. And this was such a unique and new take on a tale we have all heard a million times by this point. They really parallel Scrooge with Charles Dickens himself in creating this story, how he had to pull from within to really ground the characters and create this masterful work of art that we know now. So in many ways, we got the classic Christmas Carol right here in this film, just told through a different perspective, and I thought it worked very, very well. I thought it was a great take on the story. I didn't know a lot of the information, albeit I don't really know all that much about Charles Dickens and his life and his personal business, so I learned quite a bit, actually, from this film. And I was entertained. I think that it was funny, I think that it was heartfelt, and it's just a very nice little film for the holiday season. Also, the acting performances here are fantastic. I think that Dan Stevens is wonderful as Charles Dickens. From the crazy kooky stuff he's asked to do, to the more dramatic feeling, it all worked so well. And then we had Christopher Plummer, who was an amazing Scrooge. Very funny in his forward delivery, but also had nuance throughout a lot of his performance that worked so well. Plus, I think the set designs were gorgeous. Everything looked beautiful with this film. If I were to say any negatives regarding this movie, is that I think it moves a little bit slow at parts. Particularly in the third act, it feels kind of like, okay, we should be hitting a stride into ending this now. But it kind of seems to just keep going. And then we hit this big epiphany moment. That doesn't really hit how I think they were hoping it was going to hit. But with the pacing, I think that makes it a little bit problematic for families, because I'm very curious to hear how smaller kids are going to react to this. Is there enough going on for children to really have a good time? Because I think the parents will have a good time. But there's nothing too scary here. There's nothing too heavy for parents to be wary of. So I think this is actually a great choice for families to go see this holiday season. I think it is great fun, a nice story for everybody to enjoy. So I say if you're looking for something to see this holiday season, give The Man Who Invented Christmas a full price ticket. So those are my reviews for Roman J. Israel Esquire and The Man Who Invented Christmas. Have you seen either of these films? If you have, let me know what your reviews are in the comment section down below. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!